Some people in this world are on the front lines of the struggle between good and evil, and some, like us, bear witness. I'm Therese Apel.
And I'm Nicole Crowell. You may have heard us as we worked on stories and series about law enforcement and crime. And it's safe to say we've seen some of the best and worst of human nature.
We decided there's no greater honor than bringing you the stories of the men and women who seek out the monsters, who speak for the victims, and who put the pieces together on some of the biggest Mississippi crime stories of our time.
Welcome to Investigation Homicide.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Investigation Homicide. Thanks for being here with us tonight. We are really excited about our guest. But first, Amanda Johansson, Clinton Police Detective, is here with us today, our co-host.
Hi, everybody.
Amanda, how's it going?
It's going good. It's been a good week. And Sunday, I'm heading off to Alabama to go to a week-long class. So I'm cruising into the weekend.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. And tonight, of course, we'll be able to talk about some things that you're aware of, too, because the metro area units all work together.
Oh,
in various ways.
Most definitely.
Good deal. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Our guest tonight is Chief Joe Wade from Jackson Police Department. Now, you guys know how we love to have JPD folks on here because JPD is a storied department. Definitely one of the ones in Mississippi that has set the standard in so many ways for so many different kinds of what am I trying to say? I mean, you've done it in SWAT, in investigations, in so many ways, and then there have been ups and downs, just like the city of Jackson.
Absolutely. I want to thank you for allowing me to be here. I'm honored. This is a privilege to be here.
Oh, thank you.
And I want to thank you for your support, not just right now, for probably the past 10 years. You've been a huge supporter of law enforcement and a huge supporter of the Jackson Police Department.
Well, Chief, I just want to tell you, it's you guys, when I first got to Jackson as a baby reporter, JPD kind of, y'all didn't take me in. I think there was some healthy distance there for a minute, but it was like, finally, I felt like it was kind of home for me for a while.
Absolutely.
And I've appreciated that. And you and I have been friends now for over a decade.
Long time. So it's just an honor to be here. An honor to see the work you're doing and the work that you continue to do in our community.
Thank you. Well, and it's the same here. I remember when I met you out at the police academy.
Exactly.
So talk me through, just kind of walk through your career with me. How did you get to where you are now?
Oh, my goodness. Well, this is my 30th year, so how long do we have? All right. Exactly. Well, I started at JPD December 3rd, 1995. So this is my 30th year at the Jackson Police Department. I had the opportunity to be a young patrolman that worked down in South Jackson. Then I became a DUI unit. I was a traffic unit. Then I made detective, where I worked robbery, homicide. I was a homicide detective for 3 years. Had the opportunity to move up to sergeant, where I was a sergeant in robbery homicide for another 3 years. Then had the opportunity to move up to lieutenant, and I was a lieutenant in robbery homicide for another 3 years. I actually had the opportunity to be a lieutenant in the precinct as well, Precinct 3. Had the opportunity to move up to commander. I was a commander over the training academy. Best job I ever had, the commander of the training academy. Then I had a great opportunity to move up to deputy chief, where I served as deputy chief under 4 chiefs.
Oh, wow.
4 chiefs. So I got a chance to see it up close. And I worked for some of the best to ever do it, Lindsey Harden, Lee Vance, who shaped and molded me and the sheriff at the same time.
Right.
So it was a great honor. Then I moved up to assistant chief, interim chief, and I've been chief now for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And it seems more like 20, but they say it's 2 years, right? But,
so they say.
Yes, exactly. But I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing people over my career. I didn't get here by myself. Mm-hmm. The support of the community, the support of my family, the support of men and women who saw something in me at JPD to get me to this point. Now, I've had a lot of trainings. I'm a state certified law enforcement instructor. Mm-hmm. I completed the FBI Command College, the DA Commanders Academy, the FBI NAA Leadership Certification course. I'm a certified leader, all right? And I also have an associate's degree in criminal justice and a bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
And not long ago, you just walked across the stage to get your degree
in Baltimore, Maryland.
Right.
Exactly. People don't realize I've been a chief for 2 years, but I've also been a college student.
Amazing.
For the past 2 years. And I was able to graduate magna cum laude. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm also proud of my two children who are both graduates of I Love Jackson State University.
Awesome.
So God is good. He's amazing. And I'm here because I want to be here. I'm here because there's so much more work to do. I'm here because the vision I have and the direction that I have. And I'm so honored that Mayor Horn and his team has allowed me and afforded me the opportunity to continue my work as police chief here.
Right. Well, and that's something that we definitely want to touch on. I want to start by saying that, when you sit down with a lot of police chiefs, they can give you a resume. But yours, I think, just at least in my time covering police, it's like you've done all the things, and that really sets you up to be in a position where you understand all the men and women beneath you doing the jobs.
Exactly.
So it feels like that makes you the leader that you are.
Yes. And leadership to me is simple. Leadership, first of all, is not about Joe Wade. It's not about Sergeant Wade, Lieutenant Wade, Chief Wade. It's about the people that I lead. And I lead the greatest men and women in law enforcement in the state of Mississippi. No, nothing against you, young lady. All right.
No
or any other
offense
law
taken.
enforcement in the state of Mississippi. But I believe that we have the best because we answer so many calls for service in a week. We do a lot in a week. And I've worked with some of these great men and women over my 30-year career. But also it's about the people that I serve. And I serve the citizens of Jackson, and they depend on me so much for public safety. When I'm in the community and I have an elderly person that grabs my hand, holds my hand, won't you take a picture with me? And then she tells me, I'm depending on you. I'm retired. I can't afford to move. We got to get this right. That's my why. That is my why.
That's awesome. Well, so I know that it's no secret that through the last few years, JPD's seen some ups and downs. And I know that one thing that I have seen as you've been chief is we've brought back so many former JPD officers. Talk about some of those ups and downs and how it felt to see some of those names coming back that have been JPD guys forever.
Wow. That's one of the first things that I did. And it was unconventional. And I still have some people that don't understand that. But we were bleeding out as a law enforcement agency. I remember when we had 525 Jackson police officers.
Yeah.
When I took the helm, we were at 221. And we had lost well over 100 officers in the past couple of years prior to me taking over. So one of the things I did, hey, I got to bring some of these people back because they didn't want to leave, and they told me they didn't want to leave. But they felt with me in leadership that they trusted the city and they trusted me to come back. So we were able to first go from 221 up to 265. I just lost 6 to retirement. They made their retirement, so I'm so proud of them, and I commend them for that. But we've been able to get the numbers up consistently around 260, and that's by recruiting former JPD officers to come back, recruiting experienced officers from around the state of Mississippi, and also still working with the state to send our police recruits to Malota. So we've been able to galvanize and create a synergy around Jackson PD to get people interested in it. And it feels good. When I go to the Chiefs conferences, when I go to different trainings, these Chiefs are asking me, hey, we heard you were doing this in Jackson. How are you doing that? They're like sitting around listening to me tell JPD stories. And that feels good to know now that we have our respect back in the law enforcement community because we had lost it. And I have to be honest about that. We had lost it.
I think that's one of the things that's been the most fun for us sitting here is we've had the sheriff in here. We've had a couple of JPD officers, former JPD officers, come in, and nobody speaks neutrally about JPD. It's like once you start talking about working at JPD, everybody gets kind of amped up, and usually we have a bunch of comments, and like it's definitely a fraternity. And it did hurt for a minute there to watch it just feel sick.
I was at the Chiefs conference and we took a bunch of pictures. All these former JPD officers are now chiefs.
Yeah.
Around the state of Mississippi. Chiefs.
Clinton,
chief.
yep.
Yeah, Ford Heyman was a great robbery homicide detective when I was a sergeant there. Joseph French, Joe Daughtry. I mean, Ron Sampson, Warren Cloy.
Yeah.
I mean, we make chiefs and sheriffs at JPD.
I just was talking to Anthony Moore about that,
Yes,
about
that's my
seeing
guy.
those pictures. It's like you look at those pictures and you see all these guys that I remember in some cases. I don't remember all of them leaving, but I remember so many of them when they left. I thought, oh, man, oh, no.
Yes.
And then you see them go and fall into leadership. And what that does, how does that affect the ability of these agencies to work together?
Well, now it's the best that it's been probably in the history of the Jackson Police Department. These chiefs pick up the phone and call me. I have former JPD legends that were chiefs that pick up the phone and call me, and we talk. Lindsey Horton, Gerald Jones, Bracy Coleman. These
Wow.
legends, Edna Drake, they pick up the phone and call me. Jimmy Houston, all those guys, Daryl Smith. It feels great to welcome them back into the fold. Though they give me great advice, and I lean into them because I remember when I was a young patrolman, a young detective, and they still treated me with dignity and respect. I tell them all the time they saw something in me that I did not see in myself because I had no idea joining JPD, this naive kid out of Terry, Mississippi, that I would ever rise to the chief of police of the largest municipal law enforcement agency in the state of Mississippi. It was so far away I could not even fathom that ever happening.
Well, I do have a question. So
Okay.
I see this big smile on your face. I can tell that you are so genuine.
Yes.
And I'm kind of curious, like, if I were to ask your officers, what has been the biggest shift that has boosted their morale, made them want to come back, made them want to stay? What do you think they would say?
Well, I'm currently meeting with all of my patrol officers. I met with God probably about 12 of them yesterday in my office, not sergeants, not lieutenants, not captains, deputy chiefs, or chiefs, rank and file patrolmen. They have a voice with me.
That's
They
important.
can pick up the phone and call Chief Wade directly. Forget the chain of command. Forget all these loopholes you got to go through. They can text me, and they do every single day. I don't have that separation, and I actually have to get on my command staff sometimes. You're not going to stifle your people where they can't reach out to the chief. And also, we have to make sure that we're fair on how we treat them. You can't go from something small to termination. There is a process. Afford them the opportunity to keep their job. Now, if they're wrong, they're wrong. I don't support wrongdoing, but I'm fair on how I issue out disciplinary action with those police officers. But you always hear this. Every speech I give, and I give one in the morning at our youth academy, I bring you greetings from the hardworking men of the Jackson Police Department, the men and women who put their life on the line every single day. They hear that no matter what it is. I had an officer yesterday who told me, Chief, you didn't throw me underneath the bus. And I appreciate that. A rank and file officer told me that. And it means more to me that they think that of me, but it wasn't about throwing him underneath the bus. He was right. It wasn't wrong. I'm not going to let these other outside factors, everybody got an opinion.
Yeah.
And I feel sometimes that in law enforcement as a whole, we are soft targets. We're not hard targets. We're soft targets. Everybody knows our job better than we know it because they watch Law and Order.
Right.
Or they watch Cops Reloaded or something. But, no matter how many degrees we have, how much training we have, they know our job better. But we just have to be fair with the citizens, with the police officers, and support them. Don't just throw them out to dry just because somebody said so.
Well, and I think there's a lot of people that are glad to hear you talk like that because Amanda and I both are good friends of Anthony Fox.
Oh, that's my guy.
So yeah, and he and Desmond Barney have been on our podcast.
Yes.
And obviously after that happened, I think it shell shocked a whole lot of people that he would get indicted for something that in the end he never should have been indicted for. And that was scary, knowing that JPD's hands were tied on that. And so you're coming out so strong in favor of your officers.
Yes.
Has to set some people at ease.
Yes, and I say this all the time. I support them, but I do hold them accountable for their actions. And sometimes that action may require suspension or reprimand. It may not require termination, but if it does, it does. But you stand by that position and you are fair about how you do that. But yes, I remember Fox and Barney both when they came through the police academy. I was at the training academy. They were good men, good people, good hardworking people. I'm so glad that he's back out doing what he loves so much, and that's simply being the police.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, and talk to us now. Obviously, we live in a world. It's not just Jackson. I mean, Jackson has a lot of crime, but we live in a world right now where crime is becoming so much more of a factor for almost every police agency.
Yes.
What changes have you seen in your career, and kind of how are you going into the future dealing with the kind of crime we have now, which is evolving for sure?
It's completely different. When I came on in the 90s, crime looked a certain way. It has actually progressed as to it's a pervasive issue. It's not a simple issue. It's complex. And we have to approach it that way with technology. The criminals that we're dealing with now are more complex than the ones we dealt with in 1995 when I came on. You know, the most you'd have on a Saturday night is a drunk leaving pops around the corner, right? But now we have individuals with these assault rifles with Glock switches on it that are not afraid to use it against citizens and law enforcement. But as I've moved, not only within the JPD, within the Jackson Police Department, I've had the opportunity to travel across this country doing assessment centers for promotions in agencies from Wilmington, Delaware, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Mobile, Alabama, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I had a great opportunity to attend the LA Crime Fighters Conference.
Great.
But opportunity to visit the Los Angeles Police Department, spend time at the LAPD Training Academy. And what I tell people all the time, we don't have a monopoly on crime in the city of Jackson.
That's right.
I was in Baltimore, Maryland 2 weekends ago. We don't have a monopoly on homelessness, right? Those are issues that are complex issues, and you're not going to police your way out of social issues. And I talk about that all the time. You know, the sheriff is a good friend of mine. We talk all the time. He got over 800 people in his jail. And guess what? We're still having crime in our community. I wonder why.
Right.
Because you have social issues. You have lack of parental supervision. You have poverty. You have unemployment. You have infrastructure issues. You have dilapidated homes. You have underemployment. You have all these issues, population density, institutional failures. All of those things contribute to crime in our community. You know, as you've seen, we've had these 3 new laws go into play in reference to the homeless community. I've been on a mission to educate our homeless population about what that law is and how it impacts them directly and indirectly here in the city of Jackson. But like I told them, it's not just a law in Jackson, it's a law in No Name, Mississippi, too. All right, it's a state law. So we have to educate them, we have to train our officers, because even though we have to enforce these laws, we still can treat our homeless population with dignity and respect and without violating their constitutional rights.
That means a lot.
It does. It means a lot to me. It really does.
Yeah, teaching officers about discretion in situations where, yes, there is a law that says, you know, you can't pop up a tent somewhere, but taking them to jail, well, they can't afford a place to stay, let alone the bond or the fine or whatever. So
They're
using
indigent.
discretion and providing them with
Resources.
ways, resources for the stew pot or the other places in Jackson or kind of throughout our state, giving them options.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I visited Stew Pot last week, and I spoke to 2 groups of homeless population, homeless individuals, unhoused individuals. I was at Grace Place today, you know, Galloway Church, speaking to another group. And it's important to me. And I was out on the streets, County Line Road, Old Ken Road in Jackson, actually out speaking to the homeless population. But what's amazing to me is that they're not from Jackson. We met a young lady yesterday who said she's from Wyoming, here in Jackson, another one from Michigan. They're not from Jackson. You know, none of the ones we talked to yesterday were from Jackson. And that's amazing that we've been able to increase our homeless population here over the past, I would say, 5 to 10 years. You know, County Line Road, you know, Fondren, Lakeland Drive, South Jackson, Highway 18. There's been an enormous increase in our homeless population here in the city of Jackson.
So, okay, talk to me just I realize we're close on time here. So just quickly, let's talk about the partnership that you have with the Hinds County Sheriff's Department and with Capitol Police.
It's a great partnership. You know, I say this all the time. There are resources in relationships, and there's power in partnerships. One of the first things I did was I wanted to smash that glass ceiling. And I'll be the first one to admit it. And it hadn't just started over the past 5, 10 years. We have been hard to work with at our great Jackson Police Department. Surprise, all right? We've been very hard to work with. We take our ball out of the sandbox and go home, right? I want to smash that right out the gate. So the first thing I did was go over and met with the sheriff, Tyree Jones.
Yeah.
We are partners. We are colleagues. If I pick up the phone and call him, he's Johnny on the spot. Or vice versa. We're going to work together. I want to sit down and meet with the leadership with the Department of Public Safety. I've done that. Chief Bo Lucky, if I pick up the phone right now, he's going to answer it. We're going to work together. We're going to work in lockstep. I've met with Commissioner Sean Tyndall multiple times. Keith Davis, Deputy Commissioner, Colonel Haynes, Mississippi Highway Patrol, that team up there, Herzog with NBI. We're working with them. But let's grow it. I work in lockstep with Jackson FBI, Special Agent in Charge, Robert Eckhoff, good friend of mine, great person, does an amazing job. We have a detective on the FBI task force, the DEA task force, U.S. Marshals task force, Secret Service task force. Who am I missing? ATF task force.
Do y'all have anyone
Every
on ICAT?
task force there is. Yes. Yeah. Every federal task force there is. We have someone assigned to it. Attorney General Finch, great partner. Director Colley, good friend of mine. We are working with everyone because the beneficiary of that is not Chief Joe Wade. It is the great citizens of Jackson, resources and relationships and power and partnerships. I really believe that. And it's working. But it also gave us respect back in the law enforcement community. You know, a couple of years ago, we were just men and women showing up in these orange and white vehicles, right?
The AMR vehicles.
Yeah, exactly. I heard that, believe me. But I was in the precinct, you know, when we first got those vehicles. And somebody was actually pointing at the vehicle one day laughing at me. That's a true story. So that hurt because we have been here. The city of Jackson has been here since 1822. The first paid Jackson police officer was around 1863. I don't not only work here, I'm a historian when it comes to JPD. And to have someone point at our vehicle laughing at us, how far have we fallen? But now you see us back in the blue and white, the trademark, the pattern of what we do. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the people that put their lives on the line every single day because I've lost friends on this job. Eric Smith, good friend of mine. I've been in his home. His kids played on my team. He's been in my home. We rode partners together. Thomas Ketchens, my academy classmate. I've lost good friends on this job. So this is more than a job to me. This is my life. This is who I am. This is my identity. And that's why after 30 years, I'm still here and I'm still smiling because there's so much work to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and we're like I said, we're getting close on time.
Yes.
So, and I do want to say one of the greatest things in my career was getting to meet Joe Land, the first Black Jackson police officer.
Oh, yes, I've met him
And when
too.
you're talking about that history, I just thought, you know, there is so much history.
It is. And that's why I love talking to those veterans, those former chiefs, and sometimes they bring me around. I think Gerald Jones is like a historian himself. When I talk to him, you know, he'll pull out his management guide, which is the Bible.
Wow.
And he's talking to me, educating me. So I didn't get here by myself. I did not get here by myself. A lot of people, you know, pushed me to get here to be the chief, and I'm so proud of that.
Great. Well, Amanda, any closing thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have had an amazing career, you know, all kind of rooted in Jackson.
Yes.
And, you know, you've gone from basic patrol all the way up to the tip-top chief.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to know, what was the biggest like mindset shift that you had to have transitioning from boots on the ground to an administrative role?
And a lot of people say this as a negative, hey, you've changed. You have to change. There's a big difference in being first-line supervision or just being an officer where you are not responsible for the actions of others. You know, as you move up the ladder, you are responsible for everybody that works for you. So I could be at home at night in the bed, the phone rings, no matter whether I know the officer or not, I'm responsible for what they did or didn't do. So it's a complete mind shift. It's a change in thinking, the way you carry yourself, because people are looking at you for leadership. Now, I tell my team all the time, if you want to know what the standard is, just look at me. Because I see also sometimes that I'm kind of, you know, concerned about, you know, how they present themselves. So It's a huge shift, and you have to shift at every level. Sergeant is different from lieutenant. Lieutenant is different from commander. Commander is different from deputy chief, assistant chief. So you have to expand your horizon. But what I see as the chief, and I tell my team all the time, I should not be down on the field, running routes or throwing the ball. I'm supposed to be in the press box looking at the whole field, the stands, and the sideline. That's my position as chief of police.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's good, inspirational information.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Well, Chief, any closing thoughts from you?
Look, thank you again for allowing me to be here. A pleasure meeting you.
Absolutely.
And I ask for all your viewers to please continue to pray for and support law enforcement and the men and women of the Jackson Police Department. Thank you so much.
Good deal. Well, thank you guys as listeners and viewers. Amanda, thank you for joining us. Chief, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tommy Brown, the public information officer detective that arranged this whole thing for us.
My right hand.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, Tommy's my favorite.
Yes.
Daniel Anderson with Audio Alchemy, our producer. If you need a podcast, Daniel is the guy. You see what we do here. It looks seamless. That's because he is the best in the business.
Absolutely.
If you would like to sponsor Investigation Homicide, if you want to see your commercials on our show, if you want, to name something after yourself, maybe one of our chairs even, you can contact us on Facebook or you can call Daniel. And we just thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great night. We'll see you next week when Jeff McCutcheon, the chief of police in Oxford, joins us via Zoom. Have a good night.
Awesome.